This is Nicholas. I take this opportunity to welcome you to this YouTube channel. And in today's sessions, we are going to talk about Viagra. Okay, this is what we call Viagra. This use mostly to enhance the sexual performance. Okay, so this is 100 milligrams of Viagra. This is the maximum amount you can take in a day. Okay. There is also another one for 50 milligrams, and there is another one for 25 milligrams. Okay, so based on your needs, uh, you can use either 25, 50 milligrams, or 100 milligrams in a day. The maximum is this 100 milligrams. This blue pill, it is also called sildenafil citrate. Okay, in a more advanced language, especially for those who went to pharmacology class. This is called sildenafil citrate. Okay, but in common street language, it's called Viagra, and almost everyone knows Viagra is a sexual booster or sexual enhancer. So, as I said, the dosage is between 25 to 100. Uh, for special uh, people, maybe those who are above age of 65, they are recommended to take 50 milligrams. Okay, they are recommended to take 50 milligrams of uh, Viagra. Okay, so those who take 100, maybe those who are middle age and they are health. Okay, those ones they can take comfortably 100 milligrams in a day. Okay, so what are the uses or indications for sildenafil citrate, or what are the uses of Viagra? There are mainly two uses. Okay, there are many others, but we are going only to focus on two major issues where sildenafil citrate can be used uh, to address such situations. Okay, the first one is what we call pulmonary hypertension. Okay, pulmonary hypertension is when you have high blood pressure in the blood vessel that transmits blood from the heart to the lungs. Okay, so if there is high blood pressure due to many factors, maybe your heart is pumping strongly, so you can get high blood pressure through the pulmonary artery as it transmits blood to the lungs. So your doctor can prescribe what we call sildenafil citrate, which looks like this. Okay, uh, sildenafil citrate to really maybe expand that pulmonary artery or that pulmonary vessel. Okay, so if there is an expansion, what does it mean? It means the blood pressure will go down. So that's why it is used to manage that blood pressure in the pulmonary artery, or what we call pulmonary hypertension. So in some instances, doctors will prescribe Viagra or sildenafil citrate. Okay, the major common one now, uh, the common condition where this drug is used is erectile dysfunction. It's called ED, erectile dysfunction, ED. Dysfunction is there is a sense of malfunction. You are not performing optimally sexually. So if you cannot gain an erection enough to penetrate the vagina, or if you cannot sustain an erection, okay, the penis gets very flappy very quickly. Okay, uh, you ejaculate very quickly within 1 second. So that could be considered an erectile dysfunction. But today we are not going to discuss about causes of erectile dysfunction. We are mainly focusing on the use of this drug. So this drug can address erectile dysfunction uh, through a particular mechanism. Okay, what it does in simple terms is in your penis there is a musculature there. Okay, there is a spongy musculature. Okay, so it dilates some blood vessels inside the musculature. So when there is dilation, a lot of blood will flow into your penis, and it gets now erect. It gets rigid. It gets longer. That's what we call now erection. Okay. So this drug assists you by dilating, expanding the spaces within the spongy parts in your penis. If those spaces are expanded, a lot of blood will flow into your penis. So the flow of the blood towards the penis makes the penis appear larger and longer. It gains what we call erection. So this drug explains that use. Okay. Why are we discussing this drug? Okay. Is it relevant? Why we are discussing? So I'm going to unravel some stories, some previous stories which has happened, at least to get a background on what we are discussing today. So there are alleged previous incidents where some people have been alleged or suspected to abuse Viagra. So let me go through a very brief list of some of the stories. I will not mention names, okay? So in one of the story that is according to Standard Media in 2018, a story was run in the newspaper about a senator who died of cardiac arrest triggered by the use of Viagra. Another story was run in Standard in 2021. It is about a Migori. It's about a man in Migori. A Migori man dies after taking Viagra pills in readiness for sex. However, the mistress, the lady, said she was in menses, so the sexual activity could not take place. But this guy was already taken preparation drug. Okay, he has taken already this sildenafil. So the guy died because the lady was in menses. Another story, this was published in a Star newspaper of 2021. A 50-year-old man dies in Muranga lodging after taking Viagra. That's another case. Uh, in another case, separate incident, a 59-year-old man dies after taking Viagra in Dimaru, Kuria East. This one now, the lady did not appear for, she wasn't ready for sexual activity. So the 59-year-old man had already taken the Viagra. So the guy succumbed to death. Okay, he died in the course of preparing for sex. In another story that was published in 2022, January 2022, a 55-year-old man collapsed, dies after suspected Viagra overdose at Oma Bay lodging. Now this one collapsed after he used yet an overdose. Okay, he used the excess of sildenafil or Viagra excess, okay, overdose, okay, because he wants to actually prove extreme performance, okay. Another story: a middle-aged man dies in lodging in Kitui after suspected use of Viagra. As a middle-aged man. In another story, okay, in another story which was run in NTV Kenya in 2019, somebody I will name him XX, okay. XX died due to blood clot on the right leg. Viagra was found in his room. This was according to pathology report. Okay, the pathologist reported that the man died due to blood clot on the right leg. Okay, you know blood clot, ile damu inashikana ina form a thrombus, so ina prevent blood flow. Okay, that was 2019 case. Okay. Another story that was run in 2021 by Nation Media Group, okay? It had a lot of stories within the same in published story. As it had incidents, various incidents, detailing various occasions of men dying on line of duty, okay? A man dies in Dandora in his bedroom after suspected use of Viagra. Businessman dies in Mtwapa after developing chest pain after using Viagra. In another case that was published in Standard Media 2021, a senator dies due to effect of stroke arising out of blood clot due to suspected use of Viagra. Okay, the senator suffered stroke arising of blood clot. Okay, that was published in Standard Media 2021. There is a stroke and there is a blood clot. Blood clot leading to what? It led to stroke. So these are incidents in which Viagra could have played a big role in mortality, or it might have contributed to those deaths. Okay. So the biggest question we are asking ourselves: is it safe to use Viagra? Is it safe to use Viagra? Viagra was actually identified and approved for use in 1998. Okay, clinical trials were done. Okay, and the drug was approved for use after safety measures were shown to work. Okay, it was beyond reasonable doubt that Viagra is effective and it's also safe in enhancing your sexual performance. Okay, so but based on that, we cannot really say the Viagra is a drug which is safe. When companies are manufacturing drugs, what they do what we call clinical trials. Okay, to measure the safety standards of the drug. Is the drug effective, or the drug can lead to adverse outcomes? Can it kill a person? Okay, so since clinical trials are expensive to undertake, or it is very tedious to carry out clinical trials, so a particular number of people are subjected to use the drug like this. before it is released to the whole public. So, for example, 150,000 people might be recruited to carry out clinical trials, okay? So let us say, for example, in 150,000 people, only 1,000 people dies after using Viagra. So what is the efficacy of that drug? If 1,000 people dies, and then 149,000 people did not die or did not experience very adverse effects of the drug, or they were comfortable with that drug. So if you calculate the success rate, it is 149,000 over 150,000. So the failure rate is 0.01%, okay? So it is 99% effective, okay? But now, if you now subject to our whole population of millions of people, you will see that 100,000, not 100,000, sorry, that 1,000 in 150,000 which died, you extrapolate that number, you will realize that a lot of people will be at risk of dying from use of Viagra, okay? So anybody could be a victim of Viagra, either overdose or if he has other issues, okay? Like hypertension, past history of stroke, atherosclerosis, liver disease, sorry, and other conditions, okay? So there are three theories which people have tried to explain how this drug can cause death. Three major theories, okay? Three ways in which this drug can cause death, okay? So I am going to briefly discuss about that. So the first reason number one, is formation of what we call blood clots, okay? Blood clot is now, you see blood forming something like ile ya kushikana. You see after kuchinja mbuzi ama ng'ombe, unaona damu inashikana, ina form some small things which is round, okay? That's what we call blood clot, okay? So some previous research, scholars have established that this drug can promote blood clotting in your body, okay? Blood clotting, they form small round accumulation of blood, okay? Ile imeshikana hivi. So it can block the blood vessels, so blood flow will be disrupted, okay? So there is something called, but it's not really necessary for you to learn about that. It's basically important just you focus and say that it can form blood clot, okay? But those who want to research more, there is something called cyclic guanosine monophosphate, okay? For those who went to very advanced classes, okay? So this drug promotes increase of cyclic guanosine monophosphate. So cyclic guanosine monophosphate is the one which promotes blood clotting, okay? So if it promotes blood clotting in various regions of your body, maybe in the legs or in your heart, around the blood vessels which supplies your heart, what we call coronary artery. So if it forms that clot or thrombus and it blocks the blood vessel, you will get what we call stroke. You will get what we call cardiac failure. You will get what we call cardiac arrest, okay? So you can see how it works. But mainly now for particular people with specific risk, okay? If you have what we call atherosclerosis, okay? Your blood vessels are narrowed. There is a lot of inflammation in your blood vessels. The Viagra can there is increased risk, or there is increased likelihood of forming blood clots in your coronary artery, okay, or coronary blood vessels there. So with many cardiovascular issues, when you have hypertension, atherosclerosis disease, blood clotting can happen very quickly, and that one can kill you. Okay, this was a research. This is statement I'm talking about blood clotting formation. There is a research which was done by University of Illinois at Chicago College of Medicine. So it proved that sildenafil citrate can cause blood clotting. Okay, that is number one. And number two, we have what we call hypotension. Okay, it can cause hypotension. Hypotension is low blood pressure. So there is a specific blood pressure which is required for your body to function very well. Okay, if that blood pressure goes extremely low, you are at danger of dying. Okay, so for example, if you have low blood pressure, like maybe let's say 60/40, so the blood which is flowing across your blood vessels, uh, it appears little there is no adequate pressure. Have you seen a pipe which is large and there is water? There is little water flowing inside, so it has very low pressure. So even if you are irrigating a farm, it is very ineffective. So hypotension has been also cited as a cause of death, to explain death in some people who are taking Viagra. Okay, so and that is why it is contraindicated, yani inakatazwa to use, unakatazwa kutumia Viagra na dawa zingine kama nitroglycerin. Okay, nitroglycerin citrate. Okay, kuna watu wanakuanga na shida ya what we call chest, wanasikianga chest pain ama wako na history ya chest pain. What is, in other words, it is called angina, chest pain, yani ile uchungu kwa chest. So because pale blood flow in it is, there is blood vessels which are quite narrow. So when it is narrow, there is high blood pressure, there is a bit of blockage sometimes, so there is that pain, okay, in the around the area because of low distribution of oxygen and other challenges. So what happened? They are given what we call nitroglycerin. Nitroglycerin tries to expand the blood vessels. So when it tries to expand the blood vessels, it can cause what we call, it causes a bit of it relaxes, it causes what we call vasodilation. It relaxes blood vessels, so blood flows slowly. So that chest pain or that angina, it is what we call angina, appears to fade away, or it can be reduced by using what we call nitroglycerin. It causes actually what we call lower blood pressure. It lowers a bit of pressure. Okay, so when you use with this drug called sildenafil citrate or Viagra, it also, this sildenafil also causes vasodilation. So this one causes vasodilation, increasing blood vessels spaces, and this one increases. So you can go into very low blood pressure. So, and very low blood pressure can also kill you. Okay, so that's the mechanism of what we call hypertension. Okay, how it causes hypertension, and it can cause death. Okay, lastly, this one, which is the most rare one, it is called intracranial hemorrhage, or it is also called intracerebral hemorrhage. Ile you bleed within your brain. Okay, you bleed inside the brain. Okay, there is movement of blood from blood vessels into the brain. That one can kill you. Okay, so this one is very, 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 I want to repeat again, very rare. It might happen to very few people. Okay, it doesn't happen often to, it is very rare. It is like giving birth to children with 3 legs or 4 legs. It is very rare. So this one, bleeding in the brain, is very rare. But bleeding in the brain is a very dangerous. Uh, it is very dangerous event which can lead to rapid death. Okay, so you have seen the three reasons. We have blood clots, we have hypotension, we have intracranial hemorrhages. So those reasons can lead now to what we call, it can explain cases of death. Okay, so be keen when you have a history of hypertension, that's high blood pressure. You have history of stroke. Okay, stroke. You have suffered stroke previously. Okay, uh, you need to, in case you are trying to use this drug, you need to visit a doctor for consultation before using this drug. Okay, try to be open enough. Do not fear. You just stay open enough and say you have an history of stroke, or you have an history of liver disease, you have an history of hypertension, you have a risk in history of kidney disease. Okay, liver, kidney, angina, chest pain, or you have been using drugs for chest pain. Okay, atherosclerosis. Okay, sometimes mafuta imejaa inside your blood vessels. You have high blood pressure. So these things, they correlate. All of them somehow they increase that risk of you dying. Okay. When we say risk, we don't mean a cause. Okay. When we say risk, it is something which can make a likelihood of certain event to occur. Okay. For example, if you are drunk and you are driving, you might cause an accident or you might not cause. So we say drinking increases the risk of you causing an accident. Okay. So if you have atherosclerosis disease, liver disease, all those, they are major problems too. Uh, uh, you are It's major problems when it can cause major problems. Sorry, when you are using Viagra, it can cause death. Okay, so be cautious. Okay, so again, there are many other conditions in which somebody should seek consultation first before using Viagra, especially if you have history of prepiapism. Okay, prepiapism is prolonged erection, over 4 hours erection. That prolonged erection, okay, it can kill you. So if you have history of prolonged erection, okay. Another one, if you have an history or you have what we call sickle cell disease, sickle cell anemia, be cautious about using what we call sildenafil citrate. Okay, so up to this point, we have come to the close of the session. So on just a recap, is that sildenafil citrate or uh, Viagra, you need it. You need to use it with caution. Okay, so maximum dosage in a day, if you are healthy wise, it is 100 milligrams. Okay, if you are above 65 years, you should use 50. It is recommended that you use 50 milligrams. 50 milligrams. 50. Younger person, you have an erectile problem, you can use 100, but you use once in a day, 100 milligrams in a day. Okay, so consider the dosage, consider whether you have diseases. Okay, if you have other diseases, atherosclerosis, liver disease, use it with caution. So up to that point, I can say we have come to the close of the session. I request you to hit the subscription button, so the next time I upload a new video, you can learn. This use of Viagra, it's part of sexual health, it's part of sexual wellness. That's why we discussed today. Thank you very much for attending this session. Bye.